You like lettuce? I don't like lettuce.
Like the food or your hair?
My hair.
Today we're gonna talk with a special guest. We gotta redo this.
Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
you.
can you hear me?
It's Waltham.
That's not how you pronounce it.
I'm the only New Englander on this call right now. You're from New York.
Okay, that's like basically the New England.
Hold up. I thought your hometown was Bethany Beach, Delaware. I thought.
That's one of my
Don't switch up.
whatever. Welcome to the third episode of Mike and Jerry in the Morning. I'm Mike, he's Jerry, and today we're bringing on a special guest to talk about life. Her name is Sabrina Śalov, and she is a junior at Brandeis University. You probably didn't watch the full episode last week because it was 50 minutes long. Very understandable. We will not make it that long anymore. Also, word association game. It was not funny. It sucked. It wasn't Max's fault. I don't think Kevin Hart could have made it funny. It was a poor plan on my part. I wanted to get a segment in like 2 minutes before we started recording, and yeah, you can't do that in the mean world, dog eat dog world of podcast.
It's tough out here, Birch. Normally when we start Zooming for this podcast, it's 5 minutes after Birch has looked at the script for the first time. So we're learning, and we're trying to get better every episode. And I think we're gonna do better this episode, Birch.
I think this episode will be phenomenal.
Really excited to have Sab on. She's
very
been
excited.
one of our closest friends at Brandeis, I'd say. So that's why I think she was the perfect guest for episode 3. So without further ado, let's bring Sab on.
All right, welcome Sabrina Śalov to the podcast.
Thanks.
Wow, we just spent 20 minutes pronouncing her name, and then you just butchered it when we started recording.
That was right.
It's close enough. It's fine.
How do you do, Sab? All right?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
We're doing well. We wanted to welcome you to the pod. You're the second ever guest and the first girl on the show. I don't know how that makes you feel, but I feel like you should be honored.
Breaking barriers. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous.
A little nervous. Birch and I are still nervous, even though this is our third episode and we can be considered veterans of the game. We still get nervous every pod, so we'll take you through it. Sab, the first question I wanted to pose to you is, what were your first impressions of Birch and myself when we started going to school together freshman year at Brandeis?
I don't know if you're gonna like this answer.
No,
That's all right.
I mean, we've had the first impression Birch had of me was pretty awful, so I can't be worse. Go ahead.
I don't know if you saw Max's first impression of me, but it's probably not worse than that.
I don't know if I remember that.
He said I growled at him.
For what?
I didn't growl at him.
What was the context?
He said I would make eye contact with him across the room, I would stare at him, and I would just growl.
How do you mistake that? Like, how was he wrong?
I think it was a joke. I think clearly
Because
he
I
was
didn't
making
do
fun
that.
of
That's
Birch.
how it was wrong.
Sab, what did you think?
So both of our classes were very antisocial for like almost the whole entire first year and did not speak. So I honestly don't even know if I like formed an actual opinion on either of you until I met you both personally, like in our classes together. Like, wait, Birch, we had a class freshman year together, did we?
Yeah, it's awkward, but continue.
What?
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, we did. That's how we met. But like, I knew you guys were like cool because when I would talk to you, I'd be like, oh, like these guys are normal. Like, why won't they talk to us whenever we go out? I still don't know why that was happening, like why that ever happened. And then I'm pretty sure I met Jared through you, but I knew you guys were pretty cool dudes like from the beginning. I just was really confused why our like classes never really like intermingled. But that is a story that I'll never like have a solution for.
The best first impression is no impression at all, I guess.
No, I
What
like to keep an open mind. I like to keep an open mind, and I'm glad I did because you guys are like two of my closest friends. So
I love it. For sure. Birch, I don't know how you remember it, but I definitely remember Sab cutting us some slack for not being social, and she never gave up on our friendships because eventually we got close, and yeah, now we speak a good amount. Our sophomore year, we spent a lot of time together. So Sab, I appreciate you not letting that first opinion sway you too much.
oh, no problem.
Yeah, I guess my next question would be, what has COVID been like for you, Sab? Birch and I haven't really spoken to you much since we left campus in March. What's the COVID experience been like for you, and how are you dealing with it?
Yeah, so most of my classes in the spring were small discussions, so it wasn't really that big of a difference, like transitioning with work, like work-wise. Like I still had to read, show up every day and talk, write papers or whatever. But I don't know, like at first when I went home, I was like, I don't want to be like everyone else. Like I want to actually be productive. I want to be proud of something that like I did over quarantine. Like I don't want to look at this time in my life and like be disappointed or like I don't know, like unhappy or unsatisfied with myself. So in the beginning, I was like super motivated and I had all these ideas in my head. Like I remember I started journaling and I wrote down like all these website ideas that I had and like all these different projects that I wanted to start. And I literally not even kidding you. And I don't think I started one besides like maybe trying to start yoga almost every other day.
You still have the list?
No, I left it at home actually because I started a different journal when I got here.
Yeah.
I'm a big journaler, but yeah, so I was super motivated in the beginning and then and even like exercise wise, like I was super like into like playing soccer almost like every other day and like running every other day. And I was like, oh, like this is new me. Like I'm gonna come out of quarantine like the best Sab. Like I've been almost a year, and that could not be the furthest from true. Like as of right now, or as of like throughout the whole entire quarantine, I guess. Like I found it really hard to motivate myself. Like after like 3 weeks into quarantine, and like I would go through phases where I'd have 1 week of like really great productivity, where I'd be like working almost like 6 hours every day because I had a virtual internship this summer, and then also working out or training a little girl like because she was trying out for the travel soccer team in this fall. But I don't know, like I was super a bit what?
Did she make it?
I'm not like in touch with her mom, and I don't know if they even like went through with tryouts and everything. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah, like I found it really hard to motivate myself most of the time. And like when I think back on it, it's like I would have one really great week and then like the next week or week and a half it'd be like zero motivation like whatsoever. Like I like dreaded going outside to like run or like lift a weight. Like I literally like thought it was a chore to do anything that I thought was once like a source of happiness for myself. And that sounds very depressing, but it's honestly very true. And yeah, and I think that really like ensured my decision to just take leave of absence this semester, to like really focus on myself and like really understand like why I'm doing things and like what makes me happy, and rather than like this distorted view of like soccer as this like chore or underlying stressor rather than an escape.
100%. Yeah, I think a lot of us can relate to the varying levels of motivation. I laughed at your running comment because Birch and I have been talking about how we haven't run in so many months and we have zero interest in doing it. And yeah, Sab, I like your comment about, just kind of taking a step back and really thinking about what makes you happy in life, because, when soccer sort of gets shut down and school gets shut down, you're kind of stripped to the bone of your identity, and you're like, you have all this free time and you're like, what do I actually enjoy doing? And so, yeah, that's pretty, I think that's brave of you taking the semester off, giving yourself some time to, try new things. I know you're trying to do a few jobs right now and you're doing a few passion projects. So yeah, I find it so interesting that this time it's just, there's so much downtime to be able to just kind of think about what you're passionate about. And yeah, I know Birch and I can relate to that, especially the running piece.
Yeah, like I thought, like I spent so much of because I was so unmotivated, like it wasn't even like I was just sitting around bored every day. Like I haven't been bored in so long. Like my mind is constantly running, either stressing out, like really worried, or like super like preoccupied. Like I was never just like, when I was laying in bed unmotivated or just like sitting on my couch or like trying to get myself to work out, like it was never like, oh, like what should I do? It was like literally all the time I was doing like math equations in my head, like all the time, like exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And,
So boredom is a luxury you didn't have?
Yeah, and like I'd be like, how am I this unproductive? Like I spent all this day like thinking or trying to do something or like being indecisive, or like I know how, like what I was saying before, like I would go into like phases of like being super motivated and then not. And I'm like, in high school or even like this past year, I didn't have this much free time. And even with this much free time, I'm not even close to being as productive as I was before. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how I did it. Like I feel like a completely different person. But
the more free time, the less urgency I feel like we all have to actually get stuff done. So yeah, I think it's super relatable. Yeah, Birch and I have been, talking to each other a bunch, and we're wondering if you could answer this question for us right now. We're trying to find out.
Wait. Before you answer this question, can you tell the viewers what exactly like your situation is right now? What are you doing right now? Are you at school? What are you doing?
So I'm living in Waltham, off campus. Do you need more context with that?
Yeah.
Birch likes to call it Waltham, but we try to tell him that's not pronounced
That's
like
how you
that.
pronounce it.
It's Waltham.
That's not how you pronounce it. If you want to sound like a real,
I'm the only New Englander on this call right now. It's
what are you
Waltham.
talking about?
You're from New York.
Okay, that's like basically New England.
Wait, hold up. I thought your hometown was Bethany Beach, Delaware. I thought.
That's one of my
Don't switch up.
whatever.
Rich, is that where you're calling in from? Which house are you calling in from?
Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Okay, yeah. So living in
No, but
Waltham.
Sab, talk about what it's like to not be playing soccer and taking classes with your roommates and your friends.
After you explain more context.
Go ahead.
Jumping around here.
So I am living in Waltham off campus, and I'm not playing soccer because I'm not a student right now. I'm taking a health leave of absence, and what that means is I'm planning on coming back in the spring. Like hopefully I will be, but I'm spending a lot of my time right now in therapy. Like I'm probably sitting here and like sounds really funny, like how I'm saying this like nonchalantly, but literally like 11 hours of my week I'm in group, but whatever. That, and then I am doing an unpaid internship with this, I think it's a newly founded business consulting company in San Francisco, California. And basically they do business consulting and like investment strategy and solutions for renewable and like green technology companies and stuff. So I started that last week. And I'm also waitressing on the weekends at Moody's, like deli and like bar or whatever. And yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
That's busy. I didn't know you were in group therapy for 11 hours. That's awesome. That makes you even more busy than I thought you were.
I know that's what I was like kind of like, so when in the beginning of the summer when we were hearing like all these, I don't know, like everyone was trying to be optimistic that we were going to play in the fall. I mean, I feel like from this whole entire time, like from the beginning of quarantine, I was like, there's literally no shot that we do anything remotely normal until another year. So when people were like still talking about like wanting to live on campus and like coming back, I was like kind of confused. And like people kind of like looked at me weird and like thought I was kind of crazy for saying that I wanted to take it, like I wanted to defer or I wanted to live off campus. And then all of a sudden everyone was also on the same bandwagon, but that's a different story. And then
Zab, the leader.
Yeah, I know.
All of our teammates did it, so it was just your team.
It's actually crazy how you guys your actual like entire team is like deferred a year, and I think
you miss us.
No, I obviously miss you. There's like 5 of you I think here, and then for us we have maybe 3 people that are.
Yeah, it's flipped. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I've been playing soccer with Isaac actually pretty frequently.
Good. So you're getting your touches still. So
yeah.
What is it like socially to be just like on such a different schedule with some of your best friends?
So, I live with Emerson and Steph right now, and Emerson's also taking a leave of absence, but she's like babysitting during the day, and she also has another internship. But Steph is taking classes, and we don't really have like that conflicting of schedules. I mean, the only thing that really conflicts or like is kind of annoying is when we want to hang out and like I'm in therapy for like 3 or 4 hours in a row and it's like during dinner time. So I have to wait till we reconvene with them around like 9:30, but like on some weeknights. But I don't know. I mean, I've been pretty chill during quarantine. I haven't really had a desire to go out and like do a lot of things, especially like, I don't know, like hanging around groups of people. I mean, as much as that's like suggested, I just haven't really had a desire to do that. So I feel like I haven't really been missing out. And soccer wise, they're not really I don't think they're doing contact. I don't think they're allowed to. And Mary gave us this app that we can use to like track our progress and stuff. And it's actually pretty cool. Like they would show you like a demo video and you have to like time yourself doing it. And it just logs it in the thing. And then it like adds up like all the total time that you spent like training like during the week. And there's new like goals to hit and different training things to hit every single week. So I don't know. I feel like I'm not really missing out soccer wise. I'm just really nervous about going back to school in the spring. I'm assuming I will, but I feel like my brain is just wired so differently right now. And I can't even like all my classes, I would have to read for one class, like one weekday class, I would have to read like 20 pages. I can't read 20 pages right now. Like,
yeah, you got to start finessing.
And I work.
You just got to skim everything. Yeah.
It's like crazy. Like I'm really nervous.
Yeah, but that's good. I'm glad to hear you don't feel too disassociated with your teammates and the community and stuff. It seems like it's working out pretty fine.
Yeah, we have team bonding today. I think they like approved of something. I don't really know. Like I think the AD said something that we could do, and we're meeting later on. A lot of sports teams have like done like little group like family things where they like separate into smaller groups so they can get to know the freshmen and stuff like that. We haven't done that. I suggested it, but I don't really know what's gonna happen with that.
That's good. Bond it up. Birch, that kind of leads into our question. So why don't you say it?
The one about college.
Yeah, let's do it. So I've kind of answered it, but.
So we're trying to figure out through all of our interviews that we're going to do is how fun is school right now? You're not exactly in school, but you're in an environment where you have like exposure to how people are feeling about it, and you've actually been on campus a few times. So.
Yeah, so I'm like I said before, like I don't really have a like desire, but also like there isn't, to my understanding, like there isn't much going on, and I know a few people have been kicked off campus, so a lot of people are definitely terrified. But I don't want to out. Obviously, I'm not gonna blow anyone's
expose.
But no, but like
that's what we do on Mike and Jerry. We expose.
I'm not exposing anyone, but I'm trying to keep a low key profile for right now. But
you know everything about our school, so we're gonna have to talk to you offline.
Well, we should become the next TMZ.
That'd be
Brandeis version of TMZ.
That'd be so funny. You could have literally spies everywhere on campus, and nobody would like be able to track you.
It'd be unreal.
Yeah.
We should look into that, Jared.
Anyways,
writing it down.
I know that there have been like a few like gatherings, especially with athletes, but I know that after those gatherings happened, the captains address their teams accordingly, and I think everyone is like, to my understanding, is like aware of what's going on, like how it was wrong. But I don't know, every weekend there's something happening, and there's always like an issue where, oh my god, I can't believe like this person had this many people over, or like this person lied about this, or like this person said they had symptoms and they went. Like I don't know.
So
like,
that's like the campus gossip is person X had 2 more kids than he should have had over.
Well, the thing is, like, okay, and if people that are listening that want some tips on like trying to hide hanging out with people during COVID, like especially if you're an athlete, because not we, because I'm not a student, but like if one athlete gets in trouble, the entire like all of athletics is done, like all of it. So it's not smart. But anyways, if people want some advice on how to hide it, don't put anything on your story. Like that's just okay.
Dumb, yeah.
Like you don't even have to. I wouldn't even go to the extent about like removing locations. Like yeah, people are snoopy, I guess.
Your Snap location should always be off.
I'm not one that really uses it that often, but yeah. I feel like a lot of people at Brandeis, I feel like a lot of my friends have used it, but like you don't need to go that far, but just don't put something in your story. And also when you're talking to someone, you don't need to share the information that's not needed to be shared. Like for example, if I'm like hanging out with you and I'm like, or like we're catching up after not seeing each other for a while, and you're like, oh my god, like we had this like last night, and I'm like, oh cool, like okay, I still didn't ask.
Oh cool. Let me report you to the AD. That's cool.
No, I'm like, okay, whatever, awesome. Like I'm really happy for you that you had a great time last night. But like you also don't. I feel like the first red flag that someone's lying or shouldn't have done something that they're talking about is when they mention the amount of people they were with when it was like unwarranted information. Like I didn't ask her or ask him like how many people are going to be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
what's the capacity? What's the cap?
Like if you catch yourself talking about a time where you probably shouldn't be hanging out with other people, but you feel the need to like state how many, oh, it was only like 5 people, though, it was less than 10, like, but I didn't ask you, like you clearly are lying. Like that's it.
What's the maximum capacity?
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
Got it. So everyone just calls you up and says, I had 9 friends over yesterday.
Yeah, everybody calls me up.
Those 10-person parties. No, you heard it here first from Sab. Keep it smart, keep it clean, keep it fun.
Just think about if you were in the shoes of the person you're talking to. Like, why would you give unsolicited information? Like, nobody cares how many people you're with. Like, obviously, you're probably doing something that was a little risky, but if you feel the need to, like, state how many people were there, then clearly, like, you're worried about something. Like,
it's good. I like it.
People just need to be better actors and actresses.
Line tips with Sabrina.
Bert, you got anything before we move on?
No, that was all phenomenal information.
That was good. Yeah, Sab, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about the Hidden Opponent. I know it's an organization you just started to be a part of. You've been putting on Instagram, LinkedIn, and I've told you that I'm supporting you from afar, and I think it's really awesome what the organization and what you're doing. And so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I guess more background. It's a nonprofit, and I think it was just founded last year, but they just started this. What it is, it's an advocacy group, and it's not only students, it's athletes generally, but what I'm involved in is just like the program that they have for student athletes on college campuses and stuff like that. But high schoolers can get involved and people that have graduated. But it's basically an advocacy group that raises awareness for mental health in student athletes, athletes in general, and also addressing like the stigma that mental illnesses and struggles like holds in like athletes culture. And like the underlying mission of it is basically to like not only like inform and like educate others about warning signs or like just general like informative pieces of information, I guess, to like be more aware of as you are a student and like going through a lot of the things that we could be discussing or talking about. It's a way to empower athletes to like be able to not only like learn about it and educate other people, but like share their stories, support each other, and like address their own struggles and experiences. Because honestly, what I think is really the most empowering thing about it is that like as much as I've been more vocal about it recently, like I've always been someone who's internalized like things like issues. Like a lot of athletes do that. Like everyone basically does that. I feel like we're taught to do that, to like not talk about pain, to not talk about injury, to not talk about anything that is remotely negative. And I often feel like which can be harmful is when you have like an overly positive like culture. Like yes, you need positivity, but it gets to a point where it's like toxic and you feel like there's no space to talk about issues or problems that may be not only impacting one person, but like the entire team. And I think that, what's it called? I think that this would be, I guess, platform for people that go to Brandeis. I mean, I don't want to generally say that we have problems at Brandeis or as an athletic community, but I think that we definitely need to do a better job with addressing mental health and like seeking help with like athletes on our campus, because I can count off of like more than two hands like the amount of like people that have gone to the BCC or have like wanted to seek help because of their experiences as an athlete, and they either feel like they aren't valid, like they've been invalidated in their struggles, or they just like don't have the information to do so. And I think that bringing this to campus is like a very responsible and also important thing for me to do. Like when I saw this opportunity, I was like, I have to do this, because I knew that our school, not only I was impacted by this kind of discussion and issue, like I know that so many of my close friends and also their friends and other teammates like definitely would benefit from expanding this conversation.
Definitely. So your title is a captain of Brandeis, I guess. What exactly does that entail, and like what are some action points that are going to be occurring?
Yeah, so right now, like, it seems pretty vague because like we really haven't done anything exactly yet, but like there's like a curriculum that we're supposed to be following soon, but I'm not just like a captain, I guess, for like Brandeis. Like there's a few students who signed up to like be representatives from Brandeis or something, but I also like manage and communicate the different tasks and like oversee things for school, like D3 schools in the Northeast region. So like we have like a group chat, for example, and like I'll send out in our like Northeast group chat, hey, like these are tasks that you need to complete by the state. Fill out this form if you do. And like some of these tasks would be like try to like open up to or like identify or come across yourself with, like through the AD or like your head coach as someone who represents this organization, and also talk about the next steps you'd want to take with it, or like how like your school like will fit you into like the atmosphere, I guess. Like for example, like I reached out to the AD and I was like, hey, like I'm doing this, and now I'm going to be talking with Carrie more to like try to like organize maybe like panels where people can come in and talk. Like I know that there's a big thing that we're going to be doing is not only like fundraising and like posting informative stuff on Instagram or whatever, but a big thing that we're going to be trying to do is like host panels with different speakers on different specific issues to student athletes. Like there would be one with like injury prevention, or like coming back from an injury, or managing time between classes and your sport, or managing, or how to like approach dealing with a difficult coach or working under a difficult coach, or like a lack of leadership, like how, like where do you find yourself on your team, or like if you don't have a role, like there's all these different specific issues. And I wish that I like prepared for this, so I could have like obviously I knew you're gonna probably bring this up, but there's a bunch of like basically like specialized panels that will be focusing on different issues that I feel that will be tangible to everyone, you know, like there's going to be one thing that someone will relate to. So that's the goal there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think when Birch and I get back on campus, we'll be looking for that. So I guess you're a regional manager, and that's cool. You're like Michael Scott, pretty much.
Exactly.
We hope you have an assistant to the regional manager to help you out.
I do actually.
Birch and I are here for you if you're ever looking for people to support you with that.
Thanks.
Yeah, we think that's awesome. I have one last question. It's been in the news lately, and I know your organization posted on Instagram. We see Paul George talk about how the NBA bubble has affected him. We see Dak Prescott a few days ago talk about how anxiety and depression has crippled him during COVID. What do you think the impact is of these these high achieving professional athletes who are in the limelight? What do you think it does for the movement when they kind of speak out and share their opinion?
I think that there's what I think is so important, and I also think is incredible about the fact that these athletes spoke up was there is obviously a tremendous youth following with professional sports, and especially with all of us being college all the way down, everyone's home doing taking classes online, whatever. So whenever there's anything remotely coming out about sports or anything, because there's been nothing, I feel like there's going to be a lot more attention focused towards it, and I feel like it's really I honestly, when I saw this, I was like, wow, this could not be more incredible timing, I guess. But I mean, not that there is a worse or better time to talk about mental health, but I know that a lot of people are struggling right now, especially having with this transition of doing online classes, probably not going back to school, being stuck at home, whatever. And this, I guess, was just a reminder to a lot of people that you're not alone. And with all these young athletes, or not even athletes, just youth following professional sports, I think that it's very important that they can look up to someone that is not only vulnerable and able to talk about it, but able to be empowering enough to be you should be able to talk about this yourself too, and you should get help too, because I'm an athlete, I'm a pro athlete, you want to be like me, and I go through the same things that you do. I'm not immune to it, So I just feel it is a way that has talking about mental illness and especially the hidden opponent, it allows people from different sports or just different backgrounds and everything to just be able to actually feel they are heard and related to and seen, And whenever I've seen professional athletes come out and talk about their personal mental health struggles, I personally find it so comforting. And that's honestly how I have been trying to push through myself. I don't know if you know Victoria Garrick, but she's the one who founded the Hidden Opponent, and she had a TED talk about basically how athletes, they try to internalize all these mental health issues or struggles that they've had within themselves, because they're just taught to push through injury or push through whatever, because we're taught to just be tough. And she talked about how this had a lasting impact on not only her performance, but her health and the way that she conducted herself in not only her sport, but in society, within her family, within her friends, and I couldn't feel I couldn't relate to it more. I felt so disconnected from myself last fall when I was first really identifying and acknowledging that I needed to go seek help and really focus on my mental health. And when you have people that have such an enormous platform and big following, it's could do wonders, honestly.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it makes it so much easier to relate to professional athletes, and it actually makes it hard to root against them when they're playing sports, because they're just being so vulnerable off the floor, off the field. And so I just think it's awesome that they're using the platform, like you said.
Yeah, I think especially because
No, go ahead.
Especially because I feel we also see athletes as these robots, as these inhumane beings. We just think of them as entertainment. And especially with the Black Lives Matter movement, I feel there's been more conversation about we're more than just athletes, we go through this too, and it's this period of COVID has really made me rethink a lot of the the way that our society and just everything is just organized and set up. I really did look at athletes and think didn't really think much about if they had a bad game. I didn't really think much behind it. When I remember specifically I get really frustrated when I watch the women's national team play,
The Knicks, yeah.
Or the Knicks, or Tottenham Hotspur,
Okay.
or the Steelers, literally every single team I follow. But I get frustrated and I'm this sucks being a sports fan. All these teams.
It sucks. It still sucks.
And then I don't really think behind it it's literally they get paid to do this, but they're more than just entertainment for me,
Yeah,
They don't,
no,
they don't care if I'm getting mad at them. Like, they have bigger things to worry about.
100%. Bert, you got anything, or else we're gonna hit our last segment?
Well, I mean, I completely agree. I think it's awesome when the athletes talk about this because they're so many people's role models. They're talking about it. People are just like, oh, okay, it's okay that I have this problem. It's normal.
Yeah, not even no. I mean, like people when they're younger, if they support Paul George, I'm not just gonna be cool because I'm wearing his sneakers, but I'm gonna be cool because I'm gonna be vulnerable enough to talk about my issues. Like that's so powerful. And yeah, sports specifically, I even think about, guys get labeled like clutch or not clutch based on like how like mentally tough they are. And yeah, in 2020, that's just it's such a hard determination to make. How mentally tough they are, and even if they are more mentally tough than someone else, like that's not necessarily in their control how mentally tough they are, how clutch they are down the stretch of a game. And so yeah, all these ways we look at athletes in sports have been evolving over the last few years, and I think it's I think it's doing great for the sports industry and youth sports. And yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. Bert, you want to hit our last segment?
All right, so this week we are not doing word association game because word association game sucked and it wasn't funny.
Yeah, this is what happens when Birch produces some of the pod. We get bad games.
Damn.
So you know what? I came up with a question. We're gonna ask you a question. We're gonna listen to what you have to say. We're gonna debate it. Jared's original question was just god awful.
Oh my god, so not true.
It was
I can't wait. I can't wait for
atrocious.
next episode we do ours. Sab, Birch is gonna give you a somewhat interesting question. We'll see. Go ahead, Birch.
All right. Would you rather lose your sense of taste forever or not be able to hear forever?
Wow, what a question.
Thank you.
That must have taken you 20 seconds because it did.
Yeah.
Taste.
What? Taste?
Yep, didn't even take you 10 seconds.
I'm gonna have to disagree with that one. I love food.
I mean, I agree with you, but think about it. Like, you can go when you're sick. Like, I feel like a lot of the time, especially when you're severely sick, you can't really taste anything, and it's really not the end of the world. Like, it's really not the end of the world when you
It's really
can't
not.
a little bit. But like, I don't know what. I feel like I can't hear things now, and like, it frustrates me having to ask people to repeat things several times. So, and then think about it. If you can't hear, then you're going to have to get accommodated. Like, people are going to have to learn sign language that are close to you. And like, that would just be super frustrating.
Birch is not a music guy, but I just can't imagine not being able to listen to music.
You know what? I was going to say this, but I thought it was going to sound like a wing, but I was like, wow, like, I was just talking the other day about how I wanted to learn an instrument. And the first thing I thought about was when I thought about losing my hearing was like not being able to listen to the cello.
Huh. The cello.
No, but imagine like you'd be able to eat like the perfect diet if you had no taste. So you would be 100% healthy. You wouldn't get enjoyment from food, but like you would just be able to eat like the most healthy foods. You would be so fit. And so
Yeah, or you just be not hungry.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys kind of put me in a body bag on that one. I'm switching my opinion.
I can't wait till next episode when I pose a really good question. Sad, mine was so nuanced and interesting.
It was so bad. It was like, do you want your
No, don't say it. We're saving it. We're saving it. Sab, thank you so much for coming on. This was super insightful.
Thanks, guys.
We love talking to you. Hopefully we'll have a call soon offline and just shoot the
Facts.
Be good, Sab. We'll talk to you soon. Wow. Well, we want to thank Sab for coming on. That was awesome. Arguably our best conversation yet out of two conversations. That may be the best one. So, Max, you'll have to step it on next time you get on here.
If you get on next time, we'll see.
If you get on, we should have We gotta have a roommate podcast though. I think that's necessary.
With all of them on at once.
Yeah, that would be scenes.
We should do that. That'll be interesting.
All right. Well, that's episode 3.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening, for watching, for tuning in. Yeah, Birch and I are proud to do this, and
hopefully this is the minute 50 of the podcast.
Birch, you want to round us out?
Sure. It was a great podcast today. Great conversation. A lot of interesting information. The boys are still buzzing, and that'll be all, folks.
Step in the kitchen. Let's go.